Here is the Burzes audiobook channel. You are currently listening to the fantasy novel, The Ethereal Journey. Chapter 3. Fallen in the Heavenly Court. Oi, oi, oi. Stop shouting, my ears are about to burst. Isn't this old man Fu? Where are your 11 ghostly brothers? He, where did you con another young brother from? I mean, it's just crossing the heavenly tribulation, right? Why do you need so many substitutes? The voice was seductive and beguiling, drawing nearer from afar. A large mass of peach-colored mist rapidly approached from the distance, stopping not far from where Fu Shan stood, undulating up and down in a strangely eerie manner. Fu Shan's face turned dark with a hint of helplessness. Hua Meiniang, is that you again? After so many years, why are you still causing trouble everywhere? I haven't settled accounts with you for the last incident, yet you dare to show your face to me? The peach-colored mist spread out to the sides, revealing a stunningly beautiful woman who emerged gracefully. Li Qiang couldn't help but exclaim loudly, "Wow, what a super gorgeous lady." Hua Meiniang smiled slightly at him, as if thousands of peach blossoms were blooming simultaneously, leaving Li Qiang speechless. However, Li Qiang had just suffered a heavy blow in his romantic life and was somewhat apprehensive towards women. Despite Hua Meiniang's breathtaking beauty, Li Qiang couldn't help but want to provoke her. "Little brother, is the sister pretty? Come to the sister, be good." Her voice was coquettish, her gestures enticing, and Hua Meiniang giggled shamelessly. "Halt! Hua Meiniang, I warn you. If you dare to seduce my brother, don't blame me for making you suffer eternal damnation." "Oh, old man Fu is angry. But if he comes to me on his own, it can't be considered seduction. Oh no." "Heh, Hua Meiniang, don't be too confident. Men don't like women who are always acting strangely seductive. Although you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, I'm not interested in you." Li Qiang sat inside the teleportation array with a look that said, "What are you going to do about it?" Actually, Li Qiang was just speaking off the cuff, but he didn't realize he had hit a sore spot for Hua Meiniang. Fu Shan couldn't help but laugh loudly. "Hua Meiniang, my brother isn't interested in you. Your charming glances are wasted." A shrill and ear-piercing tirade unbelievably came out of the beautiful Hua Meiniang's mouth. "You little brat, when did I ever like stinky men? You cursed little bastard, don't ever fall into my hands. I won't stop until I suck the life out of you. I swear, if I don't, I'll change my name from Hua Meiniang." Seeing Hua Meiniang's reaction, Fu Shan felt somewhat puzzled. "I'm scared, okay, fine, don't call yourself Hua Meiniang. How about calling yourself a flower-obsessed instead?" Li Qiang had a way with words that could irritate even the most serene bodhisattva. Die. A portion of the mist surrounding Hua Meiniang separated and rushed towards Li Qiang like a tidal wave. Almost simultaneously, a bright white light flashed out from Fu Shan's hand, and the peach-colored mist dodged it as if it were a living creature. However, the white light was extremely fast and had already sliced into the mist, causing a loud explosion mixed with a fine, ting-ting, sound. The mass of mist was shattered into pieces. Li Qiang clapped and laughed. "Well done, vanishing like smoke and mist." He didn't realize how dangerous the situation had been. At his current level and without the protection of battle armor, if the mist had engulfed him, the countless tiny, life-sucking needles, mixed within the mist would have been impossible for him to resist. Hua Meiniang's peach blossom barrier was a treacherous weapon, feared by many cultivators as venomous. Fu Shan chuckled. "I have always been polite to you in the past, as everyone in the cultivation world knows that I, Fu Shan, am reluctant to engage in battles with women." In truth, Fu Shan hadn't used his full strength. For Fu Shan to go all out, it would require the abilities of only a very few cultivation experts. Hua Meiniang was furious and shrieked, "Peach Blossom battle armor. The mist surrounding her rapidly drew into her body, revealing a set of peach-colored armor. Li Qiang couldn't help but marvel, these people create such beautiful things. It's truly eye-opening. He didn't know that in the world of cultivators, artifact creation was a survival skill that had to be perfected. Exquisite armor. With a wave of his hand, Fu Shan also donned armor. Li Qiang could no longer sit idly and stood up from the teleportation array. Hua Meiniang's weapon was a peach blossom, as if just plucked from a tree, vivid and dripping as if still covered in the morning dew. She held it in her hand and waved it carelessly. Li Qiang had to admit that Hua Meiniang was extraordinarily gorgeous. Her demeanor, posture, and enchanting face were truly pitiful, making it difficult to strike her with full force. Petals filled the sky. Pink petals suddenly appeared in the air like fairies scattering flowers, transforming the desolate Mars into a place filled with the breath of spring. Hua Meiniang giggled and said, "Old Fu, try my newly cultivated thousand-flower catastrophe. Go." "Oh." Fu Shan nodded, a hint of excitement flashing through his eyes. "After so many years, you've finally mastered it." "Good, good." Li Qiang was speechless with surprise. The sky full of flower rain, could it be an illusion? How ridiculous, fighting with petals. Fu Shan was not surprised at all. He knew that each of these petals floating in the air was a sharp weapon condensed from energy. The thousand-flower catastrophe of flower rain moved, and the petals floating gently in the air began to spin rapidly, emitting a soft, buzzing sound. As Hua Meiniang fully activated it, the petals gathered in groups of 5 or 6 and spun even faster. As the speed increased, the sound changed, and the deafening sound of breaking through the air resounded through the heavens and earth. Li Qiang watched excitedly to see how Fu Shan would deal with it. "Hee, this is spectacular, watch me." Fu Shan waved his hand and a small golden butterfly flew out. Li Qiang fell down with a thud and thought, "Brother Fu is too funny. The butterfly is flying." It was no wonder that Li Qiang didn't understand anything. He had just started to get in touch with the cultivation world. That small golden butterfly was well known in the cultivation world. It was a top-grade knife called the Golden Butterfly Knife, crafted by the master craftsman Yan Hun from the Fengyuan Star. Only experts could use it, and after Fu Shan's reforging, its power had become even greater. As Fu Shan waved his hand again, another golden butterfly flew out, each butterfly splitting into a dozen. In an instant, the sky was filled with dancing golden butterflies, each flying towards its target. Flowers and butterflies met, and the violent explosion resounded through the clouds, sending chaotic energy flowing everywhere. The energy illusory petals and golden butterflies collided and shattered, with pink and gold dancing and scattering in the air. Gradually, more and more petals dissipated, while the golden butterflies danced even more vigorously. Finally, all the petals in the sky dissipated, and the golden butterflies flying everywhere merged into one, dancing gracefully around Hua Meiniang. Li Qiang knew that Fu Shan had won. Growing up, Li Qiang had never seen such a fight before. There were no martial arts techniques involved, just a comparison of magical treasures and energy. But it was indeed spectacular. "Absolutely thrilling," Li Qiang commented. Hua Meiniang was embarrassed. The peach blossom branch in her hand was broken, and the peach blossoms on it had also withered. She felt helpless. Against an expert like Fu Shan, she had no idea where to start. She had cultivated this peach blossom for 7 years and spent countless energy on it, but it was all destroyed in an instant. A sinister smile suddenly appeared on her face. Thousand-flower shield. Countless colorful flowers suddenly emerged from Hua Meiniang's body and spun rapidly around her. The golden butterfly knife missed its target. With a wave of her hand, a misty gas flew towards Fu Shan. "Oh, you're still not convinced. Alright, come again." Fu Shan was a bit careless. "Whoa, what do you want to do?" Li Qiang was terrified by Hua Meiniang's sudden appearance. Hua Meiniang didn't attack Li Qiang because she knew that if she destroyed Li Qiang, Fu Shan would definitely hate her to death. In the cultivation world, Fu Shan was considered a top expert, and few dared to provoke him. However, Fu Shan had a rule of never killing women, which is why she dared to attack him and had even ruined his plans several times. Although she didn't dare to harm Li Qiang, she was very skilled at causing trouble and destruction. She activated the transmission array. Only God knows where the uncalibrated transmission array would send Li Qiang. Fu Shan was furious. He put away his golden butterfly blade and spat out his famous weapon, the Hanbai sword. Experts in the cultivation world knew that when Fu, who was highly respected, used the Hanbai sword, the situation was serious. He was worshipped like a god on Fengyuan Star and several other planets, and few dared to provoke him. As the Hanbai sword flew out, the air temperature dropped sharply. Fu Shan roared, "Bastard!" Hua Meiniang was terrified. She knew the characteristics of the Hanbai sword too well. It would never return without tasting blood, and she had no chance of winning against it with her current abilities. Escaping was something Hua Meiniang had a lot of experience with. She spat a mouthful of blood onto her 10,000 flower shield and fled through the ground. She gambled that Fu Shan wouldn't have time to pursue her and would instead check the direction of the transmission array. With just a moment's delay, it would be difficult for Fu Shan to find her. With a bright sound, the Hanbai sword pierced through the 10,000 flower shield and flew back into Fu Shan's hand. Seeing the bloodstains on the sword, Fu Shan stamped his foot in anger, knowing that she had escaped again. As expected, a bowl-sized flower with a few scattered petals and a hint of blood was left on the ground, but Hua Meiniang was nowhere to be found. Picking up the flower, Fu Shan knew that Hua Meiniang must have been heartbroken when she escaped. Her 10,000 flower shield had been destroyed, and she had lost 2 treasures in one day. It was unbearable for anyone. Fu Shan flew to the transmission array and was dismayed to see that it was pointing towards Fengyuan Star. He knew that this couldn't be right as it hadn't been set to this direction initially. Relying on his experience, he carefully examined the array and calculated for a long time, listing 7 possible destinations. "Damn it, I'll skin you alive, you little demon. Alas, I'll have to go back to Fengyuan Star first and ask some brothers to search for you separately," Fu Shan said reluctantly as he stepped onto the transmission array. With a flash of white light, the planet Mars returned to its usual silence. In the darkness of the night, the wind gently brushed the treetops, and the sound of sobbing was like a ghost crying. Strange monsters let out eerie howls. Li Qiang stood in an ancient transmission array, feeling a chill in his heart. He had been standing there for a long time, thinking about everything that had happened in the past few days. Gradually, the sky began to brighten. A melodious bird chirp awakened Li Qiang from his thoughts. Bird chirp? Where could this be? He saw blue skies, white clouds, and a dense primitive forest surrounded by overgrown weeds and countless huge rocks. For a moment, Li Qiang thought he had returned to Earth. Looking at the silver armor on his body, which was shimmering with purple flames, Li Qiang shook his head and dismissed the thought. Stepping out of the transmission array, Li Qiang hesitated. Should he wait for Fu Shan or explore the forest first? After a moment of indecision, he decided to wait for a few days and explore if Fu Shan didn't arrive. Once he made his decision, Li Qiang immediately began preparations. "Thank goodness I bought a lot of supplies. Now they'll come in handy," he thought to himself. He cleared a space under a huge rock and hummed a tune as he took out a travel tent from his bracelet and assembled it. Crawling inside, he spread out a blanket and sat cross-legged. I should eat something," Li Qiang thought. However, since activating the purple flame heart, he had entered the period of avoiding grains, and his body's energy needs were now completely provided by the purple flame heart. Eating was no longer necessary. He opened a vacuum-packed bag of pork jerky and ate 2 pieces. Suddenly, an overwhelming feeling of sadness washed over him. To shake off the melancholic mood, Li Qiang crawled out of the tent, took a deep breath, and his gaze inadvertently swept across the rock wall, causing his entire body to shake. He looked at it in disbelief as he saw two large Chinese characters etched into the rock. Li Qiang didn't recognize these two characters, but he knew they were ancient Chinese stone drum script. Li Qiang immediately searched around and sure enough, on a nearby boulder, he found densely packed characters, a mix of stone drum script, seal script, clerical script, regular script, running script, cursive script, as well as some strange and unfamiliar scripts he couldn't decipher. After carefully reading through the characters he recognized, Li Qiang's face showed surprise. This planet was called Heavenly Court. Apparently, some ancient Chinese people, after attaining enlightenment through cultivation, were brought to this planet in batches by 4 cultivators known as the envoys of the Jade Emperor. Each batch of cultivators believed they had achieved immortality and ascended to heaven in 100 days, but after arriving here, they could no longer find the envoys of the Jade Emperor, and this place was far from the paradise they had imagined. The pain, sorrow, helplessness, and anger expressed in the inscriptions on the rocks made Li Qiang shiver. After carefully examining the inscriptions, Li Qiang discovered that the last people to arrive on this planet, besides himself, were 756 men and women, young and old, who arrived in 4 separate batches during the 3rd year of the Jiaqing Emperor's reign in the Qing dynasty. Somehow, no one had been sent here since then, and the place had gradually become deserted. Li Qiang felt some comfort knowing that he was not alone on this planet. Whether or not the people from Earth were still here, their descendants must surely be living here. With a foolish grin, Li Qiang decided to leave his own inscription. He traced a line of characters on the boulder with his finger and, tilting his head, admired his handiwork with satisfaction. The characters on the rock face were crooked and slanted in all directions, boldly declaring, Li Qiang was here, with the inscription, in September of the 1st year of the 21st century, exiled to the Heavenly Court planet by Hua Meiniang. Returning to his tent, Li Qiang decided to start studying the information on the Jade Scroll. After experiencing the helplessness of activating the purple flame heart and witnessing Fu Shan's thrilling battle with Hua Meiniang, Li Qiang knew that to survive in such a world, he had to become stronger. Holding the Jade Scroll, Li Qiang entered a state of deep meditation, neither sleeping nor resting. The countless information and data stored in the Jade Scroll flooded into Li Qiang's mind like a tide. The cultivation realm refers to the world where cultivators live, distinct from the ordinary, mundane world of reality. Cultivators are those who can absorb, master, and utilize Jingjin energy. Jingjin energy mainly resides in ores, but some rare plants and animals also contain it. This energy exists abundantly on some planets, sparsely on others, and is absent on still others. The crystals produced in the ores are called Jingshi or Xiuzhenshi, commonly known as Xianshi or Zhujishi. In the early stages of cultivation, most cultivators start with low-grade Xiuzhenshi and gradually upgrade to better ones as their cultivation increases. Once they cultivate their own Yuanying, spiritual embryo, they no longer need to rely on the energy of Xiuzhenshi. Fu Shan's Hanpa Pearl and Li Qiang's Purple Flame Heart are both extraordinary treasures that cannot be found in nature but are created through cultivation. They can be considered as a kind of soulless Yuanying. Such treasures are not available to ordinary cultivators but only to those with special qualities. There are 11 levels of cultivation for cultivators: Xianzhao, Kaiguang, Ronghe, Xindong, Lingji, Yuanying, Chuqiao, Fenshan, Hedi, Dujie, and Deshang. Each level has its own upper and lower distinctions. If a cultivator enters the 6th level of Yuanying stage, they can achieve immortality of the soul by cultivating their own Purple Mansion Yuanying as their Jingjin energy condenses. If they reach the 10th level of Dujie stage, they can achieve immortality of the physical body. However, the Dujie stage is the most dangerous one. There is a saying among cultivators that Yuanying is easy to cultivate, but Dujie is easy to perish. As long as cultivators have time, Xianshi, and the correct cultivation method, they can always cultivate to the Yuanying stage. However, the Dujie stage is different. One mistake in cultivation can lead to complete destruction of both body and soul. Crafting is also a major field of study in the cultivation realm and is a skill that every cultivator must master. There are many types of crafting, and there are various sects in the cultivation realm, each with its own secret methods of crafting. The Jade Scroll records many secret methods of crafting and inseparable arrays from it. Many arrays must be embodied through crafting. When Li Qiang opened his eyes, he was pleasantly surprised to find that the Bangqining inner armor had shrunk into his body. He now knew that he had reached the early Yuanying stage, which was the beginning of the 6th level of cultivation. He was puzzled by the thick layer of dust in the tent. He didn't know that his first meditation had lasted 7 months, which had a transformative effect on him. After finding a small pond nearby and taking a refreshing bath, Li Qiang changed into clean clothes. He thought to himself, if Brother Fu comes, he will surely see the words I inscribed on the rock. With his great abilities, he will surely find me. I should start exploring the Heavenly Court planet and treat it as a free tour. Packing up his belongings, Li Qiang felt a surge of courage and shouted, I'm coming. With that, he took a big step forward and began his journey on the Heavenly Court planet. The 3rd chapter ends. Thank you for listening. This is Bruze's audiobook channel. Please follow me to get updates in the first time.